Hi, my name is Capri Frisbee Bergdord, and I'm the ATC and Exercise Physiologist for WorkPartners Occupational Health in Grand Junction, Colorado. The following stretching demonstrations are preventative in nature and are to help with minor muscle and joint aches. Needless to say, if an injury has occurred and must be evaluated, we will begin the process of healing by utilizing stretching. 80% of the workforce injuries are related to muscle tissue and can be prevented. Do you realize with what? Proper lifting mechanics, daily stretching, and exercise programs. We've put together a series of stretches called dynamic stretching. This will involve the whole body and are conducted with little amount of time and space. Please note that stretching will start with a 6-second hold for each position. But as you memorize the body movement, you will be able to go through the positions at a much faster and smoother rate, thus warming up the whole body and helping the prevention of injuries. Please use this as a tool to improve your overall health and well-being. Beginning position is on all fours. Prayer stretch. Kneeling on the floor, reach both arms straight out in front along the floor. Sit lower body down and back onto the heels. In the prayer position, you should be feeling the elongation of the shoulders down through the back and into low back. Cat and camel. Rotate up to all fours. Let the stomach muscles relax and the spine sag down. Suck the stomach muscles up and in an arched spine upward toward the ceiling like a mad cat. Lower back down and repeat. Rotate back into the prayer stretch. As you're sitting back onto the heels, make sure you rotate this time from side to side, elongating the hips and the goal of trying to reach the hip to the floor. At this point, your goal is to try to hit the hip down to the floor to elongate the stretch. Hip flexors low lunge. Rotate one of the knees forward, keeping the knee at 90 degrees and over the ankle. The goal here is the knee should never be over the toe. The back leg will elongate and the toe should turn inward. Your stretch should be felt in the hip flexor. At this point, you want to try to reach elbow down onto the floor. If you're unable to, that is okay. Just try to keep the stretch as long as you can. At this point, you're going to take the closest arm to the knee and rotate upwards towards the sky and follow with your head, elongating the spine and getting a small spinal twist. Rotate the arms back down and rotate the front knee backwards into lumbar extension. You should be on your stomach with your hands on the floor at shoulder level. At this point, you should be squeezing the glutes and pushing the pelvis to the floor, getting that extension stretch. Downward facing dog. Pull the toes under, rotate your hips upward in a triangle position, and drop the chin to the chest. The goal at this point is for the heels to touch the floor. To get an extra stretch within the calf, rotate from side to side, just allowing one foot to stretch it out. Piriformis glutes, or one of the runner stretches. The same knee that went upward is going to come upward again, and you're going to elongate and lay down on it. The back leg should once again be elongated. The toes should be turned inward, keeping the hips square to the shoulders. The piriformis glute psoas stretch begins with the two dimples within the back. There are 5 attachments and they rotate over into the hip. This stretch is specifically for low back injuries. Psoas piriformis, the second runner stretch. Push yourself upwards, squeezing the glutes, keeping the chest nice and square. At this point, you're going to rotate that front knee backwards to elongate to the back knee, bring the back knee forward, and go right back into prayer. This is step 2 of the phases of 6. Go back up into cat and camel. Back into prayer with a hip shift. Take the opposite leg and bring it into the hip flexor low lunge. Remember to elongate the back leg, keeping the front knee 90-90, never reaching the toes. The back leg with the toe turned in. Once again, our goal is elbow, elbow. If you're unable to do that, just reach. Turn inward, closest to the front knee, follow with the head. Elbows back down on the floor for support, rotate the front knee backwards. Lumbar extension, squeezing the glutes. Rotate the toes under, go into triangle or downward dog, drop the chin. Take 2 steps forward at this point. You'll be elongating the stretch, rotate side to side for the calves. The same side you brought forward, you're going to elongate again, bring it forward, laying down on it. Back leg turns inward. Squeeze the glutes and push yourself upward. Pull the front knee behind and go back down into prayer. That is 1 complete set. Repeat it 3 more times. Once you have the stretches memorized, each time you do this, it should be conducted faster and faster. That's why it's called a dynamic stretch. So at this point, once again, we're starting on all 4. She's going to go into prayer, go up into cat and camel, back into prayer, hip shift, hip flexor low lunge, elbow, elbow, rotate inward, elbow, elbow, elongate back into lumbar extension, toes under, downward dog, side to side for calf, piriformis glutes, piriformis psoas, rotate back into prayer. Cat camel, prayer with the hip shift. Switch sides for the hip flexor low lunge. Elbow, elbow, rotate upward. Elbow, elbow, elongate back into lumbar. Toes under for downward dog. 2 steps forward. Calf, calf. Piriformis glutes. Piriformis psoas, back into prayer. And at that point, you're going to just rotate 3 times on each side, a total of 6. You should be able to complete this within 1 minute after you have memorized the positions. Starting position is on your stomach. Go into plank. Support the body in a plank position with forearms shoulder width apart and feet together. Keep a straight line through the knee, hip, and shoulder. Maintain contraction of the transverse abdominis. Suck the abs in. From here, you want to rotate into lumbar extension. Use the elbows and forearms to raise the upper body up off the floor, keeping the pelvis in contact with the floor. Keep buttocks relaxed and allow the back to sag. From here, rotate back up into plank, and you are now going to throw your right leg over and go into what is called a V-sit. From here, you're going to reach opposite hand, opposite foot. Then rotate back over into plank and immediately go into the opposite V-sit, opposite hand, opposite foot. Back into plank position to the center and rotate the hips down into lumbar extension or cobra, whichever you prefer. At this point, you're going to repeat that 3 more times on each side. Go back up into plank, Rotate over, opposite hand, opposite foot into the V-sit position. Each time should be elongating this stretch. Rotate over in one smooth movement, keeping the hips up, then down and rotate. Then back into plank and into cobra position or lumbar extension. One more time, back up into plank, rotate over, opposite hand, opposite foot, each time getting quicker and quicker and elongating the stretch. Rotate, opposite hand, opposite foot, back into plank, into cobra. Beginning position is on the stomach. Go into plank, rotate the hips over into a V-sit, opposite hand, opposite foot, over into plank, immediately to the opposing side, back into plank, go into cobra. Once again, go into plank, V-sit, opposite hand, opposite foot, immediately rotate to the opposing side, back into plank, and into cobra or lumbar extension. Beginning position is standing. Lats, rotator cuff, self-traction. Elongate out, place your hands onto a chair. Straddle, drop the chin to the chest. This is also called a standing prayer position. From here, rotate over to a sitting position. Pecs, mid-back extension. Clasp the hands together and gently place behind the neck. Sit tall and keep the chin tucked down slightly. Raise the chest up, breathe in, and slowly bring the elbows backwards and pull apart the hands as you squeeze the shoulder blades together. Biceps, pecs, bilateral. Stretch the arms out sideways with palms facing forward. Keeping elbows locked straight, bend the wrists backwards and squeeze mid-back muscles to bring arms further backwards. At this point, rotate downward, then upward, following the shoulder blade back to beginning position. Lats, elbow reach. Fold arms together on top of the head. Bend slightly to one side and direct the top elbow towards the ceiling to feel a stretch in the side and armpit area. Inhale deeply to increase the stretch. Make sure you rotate to both sides. Rotator cuff self-traction. Keeping the shoulders square, reach one arm in front and across the body and grasp the wrist with the opposite hand. Gently pull forward on the wrist and take a deep breath in to feel a stretch in the back of the shoulder joint. Triceps cross body. At this point, all you do is drop the elbow. Make sure you rotate both sides. Mid-back reach. Place hand over hand and reach both arms straight forward, rounding the back. Take a deep breath in and increase the stretch. Mid-back trunk rotation. Sitting, reach one arm across the body and support the opposite hand at the elbow. Bend forward slightly and rotate the upper body to increase the stretch in the back of the shoulder and mid-back. Taking a deep breath in will increase the stretch. Remember to do both sides. Shoulder circles. Sit up nice and tall. Shrug the shoulders up and roll them backwards and then down. Repeat and go forward. Traps. Grasp the wrists of the side to be stretched behind the back and bring across the body to the opposite side. Turn the head toward the side to be stretched and tilt the head away, ear to shoulder, to feel a stretch in the side of the neck. Make sure you do both sides. Traps. Clasp hand over hand behind the back, standing tall. Keep the chin tucked down and lower the shoulder blades down to the floor to feel a stretch in the top of the shoulders. You may at this point rotate or push the hands towards the ceiling to increase the stretch. Levators. Grasp the wrists of the side to be stretched behind the back and bring across the body to the opposite side. Turn the head away from the side being stretched and let the head hang forward to feel a stretch in the side and back of the neck. Make sure you do both sides. Standing position is beginning position. Rotate down, stagger the feet, drop the chin to the chest. Rotate over to a sitting position, clasp the hands behind the head, pull them apart as you squeeze the elbows and the shoulder blades. Elongate the arms out, extend the wrists back, rotate following the shoulder blade up and then back down. Take one arm, opposite elbow, pull it and lean, switch. Take one arm straight across, hold at the wrist, switch. Now drop the elbow. Mid-back reach, elongate and twist, cat back. Opposite elbow, opposite knee. Shoulder circles. Grasp one wrist. Look the opposite way. Switch. Bilateral traps. Grasp the wrist. Look downward. Switch. Starting position is standing. Pull a single knee to the chest. Rotate forward into an active hip flexor lunge, making sure the front knee is 90 degrees to the ankle. Never let it go over the toe. Rotate hands down to the floor for support. The goal is to hit elbows on the floor. If you're unable to, that is just fine. Rotate inward towards the front knee, point to the sky and follow with your head, elongating the spine and getting a small spinal twist. Rotate the elbows back down and go into plank. At this point, rotate the knees underneath and go onto the hands and knees. This is called rock quadruped. Rotate forward and then back. Slowly bring one foot forward and then the other, placing yourself in a deep squat or baseball catcher stance. In the baseball catcher stance position or a deep squat, what you're actually doing is stretching out the low back and the hips. At this point, it is very key to remember you must squeeze your glutes when you stand up. All our strength are within the glutes. When she does that, she's going to squeeze her glutes and then slowly curl herself up. When she does that, it relaxes the low back, plus reducing the low back injuries. Knee up. Step forward into the hip flexor lunge, making sure the knee is over the ankle. Hands down for support, and the goal of elbow to the floor. Rotate inward and point to the sky. Elbows back down. Rotate the back hip into plank position. Bring the knees in and the hands up. Rock forward and back. Slowly bring one foot forward and then the other, placing yourself in that deep squat or baseball catcher stance. Squeeze the glutes and curl up to beginning position. Beginning position, standing. Knee to chest, forward lunge, hands down, elbows down, rotate in, elbows down, rotate the hip back into plank. Knees down, hands up, rock forward, back, bring one leg forward, then the other, squeeze and curl up. Rotate sides. Knee up, forward lunge, hands down, elbows down, rotate in, elbows down, rotate leg back, knees down, hands up, rock, leg forward, other leg, squeeze and curl up.